Bonjourno everyone, my name's Jackmammu, or as you know me, Overlord in a game we like to play called Clash Royale. Now guys, Bonjourno everyone, this is Jack from Jackmammu, and today we are here to talk about the Heal Draft Challenge. The Heal Draft Challenge is a typical draft challenge where if we get 12 wins, we get a prize of 100 heal spells. More importantly, at 6 wins, we will get 10 heal spells and it will be unlocked for us a week early. I'm doing this video now guys, so that way we can prepare on how to best use and how to counter it. If you go and tap the heal spell, you will see that it has here information on a level 1 heal spell. That's not what we're going to be using in the draft. We will be using a tournament level heal spell. The tournament level heal spell card will heal at 176 per second for 3 seconds, which becomes a total of 528. This is an important number and we will be using this in our statistics to determine what cards are good, what cards can be used to counter, and how we can work with this new card in the game in general. First off, let's talk about the arena towers in general. An arena tower, the one with the little archers, does a total of 97 damage per second, while the king does 73 damage per second. This means that it will take an arena tower 5.4 seconds to get whatever troop it was originally attacking back down to its original health before the heal spell worked. And for the king tower, it's worse, 7.3 seconds. Another important thing to note is that the heal spell does not heal buildings. Fortunately, we will not see any heal mortar combos or heal expos or healing back a tower that was about ready to go down. Now that we've covered those out of the way, let's talk about some cards that will be good with the heal spell. I will be listing these from the order of what I think will be best to cards that will be good in combination, but not necessarily killer. The first one that will be really good, and I would argue potentially the best, is, if I can find it, the balloon. The reason why the balloon is so good is that the balloon is a defense targeting troop that will go straight to the tower. Normally, a person can pull out an inferno tower or something else to defend it. However, if a heal spell is played on, that balloon tower will get an additional strike off. As I mentioned before, it will take a arena tower 5.4 seconds to get that balloon back to where it was before. But if you see here, the balloon gets an extra, it will hit every 3 seconds. So the balloon will get another hit off because of that heal spell, and then if it manages to knock out whatever you pull with it, it's going to do some massive damage. This is potentially going to be stronger than a freeze, but I'm not entirely sure on that. Another good card that's going to be very strong is the Three Musketeers. The Three Musketeers are up here for me. The Three Musketeers are going to be very good because normally when you play them, your opponent will have a Fireball, because Fireball is a cheap elixir trade to hit 2 of them. However, because of the heal spell being able to regenerate 528 hit points over the course of the 3 seconds, and the Fireball only does 572, you basically have only done 50 points of damage to 2 Musketeers, meaning you have basically full health Musketeers that are about ready to do some work and damage to your tower. Another card that I think is going to be very good, but extremely volatile, is the Inferno Dragon. The Inferno Dragon will be incredibly powerful with the heal spell because if it locks onto the tower and you heal it, your tower is done. It's going to have too much time to warm up and deal out that massive damage. If you want to see an example of this, take a look at Orange Juice deck or Orange Juice's video on this because his opponent used that combo and took out his tower. Other cards that are going to be good are not necessarily killer, well, they become killer cards with this deck. The first one being the Hog Rider. The Hog Rider does 212 damage per second. As I mentioned before, the heal spell will give him basically 5 seconds more worth of damage. So that means that Hog Rider is going to get 1,000 more damage if it's just naked. If there's other troops backing it up, your tower's gone. Another troop that will be extremely powerful is the Mini Pekka. The Mini Pekka does an attack of 1.8 seconds, giving it a damage per second of 317. That means in the course of the heal spell's time, it will do over 1,500 damage to your tower because of that heal spell, meaning your tower is gone. It's done. The final card I think is going to be very synergistic with the heal spell is the Battle Ram. The reason why I think the Battle Ram is going to be very good is because the Battle Ram, if you deter it, the shield will get affected by the heal spell and regenerate that ram, so it will hit the tower. Your only chance to defend it is by pulling it. If you don't pull it and you try like the traditional skeletons or minions, it's not going to work now. It's going to hit the tower, and the leftover heal spell is going to heal up the barbs as they're still dishing out damage to whatever they have hit. So those are the cards I think are going to work very well with the heal spell. So if you have a chance, especially if you have the chance to grab like the Mini Pekka, or more importantly, in my opinion, the Balloon, or the Three Musketeers, draft it. It's going to be so powerful. Now that we talked about what powerful combos there are in the game, let's talk about how we can counter the heal spell. To look at that, we need to look at cards that will do more damage than what the heal spell will do per second. As I mentioned, the heal spell heals at 176 hit points per second, so we need to look for cards that will dish out more than that. The first troop that comes to mind is the Pekka. The Pekka is a very heavy-hitting card. With one swing, it will do over 600 points of damage that automatically counters out the lifetime effect of the heal spell. Damage per second is 376, so it meets our requirements for being above. Other cards that have this same requirement is the Mini Pekka. As I mentioned before, the Mini Pekka's damage per second is 317. That's higher than the heal spell 176, meaning it can be a counter to the heal spell. It's still buying it time, but it's not growing drastically. Another card that will work is the Lumberjack. The Lumberjack is unique because he does 220, which alone is enough to counter per second. But because his attack speed is 0.7 seconds, he does over 300 per second, which means he will also be countering out the heal spell's effects. The final card that meets that criteria is the Prince. The Prince is kind of an underrated card, but I think he needs some love in coming back. But with the heal spell out, he becomes a viable counter for the heal spell, although not the greatest, but he still fits the criteria. A special note, other cards that are going to work well that meet that criteria is the Sparky, but she's incredibly fickle and difficult to use, so I wouldn't recommend her. But another card that fits that criteria that I still wouldn't recommend is the Executioner. And the reason why I don't fully recommend the Executioner is because the Executioner will work great if you are able to capture whatever you're hitting at the end of his axe swing. At the end of his axe swing, it will hit twice, doing 280, which is enough to counter a heal spell and kill a nearly dead troop. However, if this is a troop that's in front of him, he has to wait for his axe to come all the way back, which is enough time for the heal spell to heal up and basically counter out the heal spell. So technically, it could work, but it's fickle. The most important thing, guys, is to be able to counter the heal. Now, I've talked about troops, but the best way you're going to be able to counter him is with spells. The big spells are the Lightning, which does 864 damage per second, the Rocket, which does 1484, and the Fireball, which does 572. It's important to note that cards such as the Arrows will do enough to counter a tick of the heal spell's effect, but because I've chosen these three cards is because overall the damage they will do is more than the lifetime of the heal spell. So if you brought them back from the brink of death, these cards hopefully are going to be able to kill whatever he has healed back. Overall, guys, the important thing to know is if you get either the balloon or the mini pekka or any of the cards I mentioned previously that work well with the heal spell, do it. And if you are looking against countering it, you better pick the rocket, the lightning, or the fireball. Overall, I think the mini pekka is going to be very valuable in this tournament because it's a card that can be used to both be enhanced by the heal spell and be countered by the heal spell, and other good cards are going to be found during this whole process. But anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it here, and that is Mammu Milk with Jackmammu, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye!